Hello. This is the Circle Podcast. I'm actually really nervous. I don't know why. I did a lot of research on this, and I hope it spans over an hour. So, and then we have an audience too, so this is really
You can say hello if you want.
my heart's beating.
Hello.
From the background.
Hello.
Hello.
This is our live studio audience for
Yeah.
today.
I don't know how I'm gonna do. So whatever. But this episode, I did a lot of research on something interesting I found
Okay.
that I kind of told you guys a little bit about.
Wait, should we do introductions?
Oh, that too. Shit. You see, I'm nervous. Go for it.
Please don't yell on the mic.
Hello.
Sorry. My ears.
Hello, everyone. My name is James.
Hello, my name is Daniel. And I'm Philip.
Yes, like always.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure to follow us on our Instagram, Circle Podcast _. We have a lot of content coming out daily. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I remembered this time.
Yes, like always, I'm here with my best friends. So we are gonna talk about something very interesting that I did research on. It's called segmented sleeping, and I don't know if anyone has heard of it.
Segmented sleeping. Is that where people, instead of sleeping just like one straight block of time, they break it up?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I know.
Yes, sir.
I've heard a bit about that. Yeah.
So,
I've heard of this, but I didn't know that that's what it was called.
that's what it's called. Okay, well, I'll tell you how I got into it. I went down like a rabbit hole, and I have a few different points to talk about just sleep in general
There we
too. So I don't know if you guys know who Cameron Haynes is, that ultra marathon runner,
Yes.
hunter. Okay,
Got Joe Rogan into
Yeah.
bow hunting.
so he's kind of really active on his Instagram. So he put a ask me a questions thing, on the Instagram stories, and someone asked him about sleep, how much sleep he got, and he said something along the lines of like, I don't really care about sleep. I'd rather be tired and a legend and great than get my sleep, right?
Mm.
So I was like, at first I was like, I thought it was a little arrogant. I was like, people need sleep, but I understand, right? If people are really dedicated to something, they're going to sacrifice their sleep no matter what. And he brought up a good point. He said, do people ever ask legends how much they sleep? So I was like, And then he brought up Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So just going off Kobe Bryant, he put up a picture of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and then he put in quotes like, how much sleep do you guys think these guys got? And then he put, see, it's weird because they're legends, right? It's just like they seem like invincible, and their sleep
Like
schedule and
unhuman.
cycle doesn't really matter, right? It seems like it doesn't matter. So, and then he put this quote up from Kobe Bryant, which I'll read. Kobe Bryant said, "Starting early helped me balance basketball and life. When my kids woke up in the morning, I was there, and they wouldn't even know I had just finished at the gym. At night, I'd be able to put them to bed, then go work out again during my own time, not theirs. I wasn't willing to sacrifice my game, but I also wasn't willing to sacrifice my family time. So I decided to sacrifice my sleep."
Beast.
So
Damn.
I was like, okay, did he really say this? Because this is on an Instagram post, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to look up the quote. I couldn't find it. And then I went back to the story, and I realized that the page that posted it was called Mamba Sports Academy, which is his
Yeah.
business or sport thing that he made. So I was like, okay, this is real, right? So I was like, this is weird, right? It kind of went against like a lot of just my thinking on sleep, right? You're told you need 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So I was like, okay. So I was like, how much sleep did Kobe Bryant actually get, right? So apparently he would always say that he only needs 3 to 4 hours. So I was like, wait, what the hell is this, right? How are you like this NBA, 5-time NBA championship legend in basketball, like third highest points in
Yeah.
scoring,
Fourth now.
fourth,
Because LeBron.
and you're only getting to oh yeah, that's right, you passed him.
Yeah.
You're only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. I was like, are you like tired all the time, or are you just like a peak performance human? You don't really need that much sleep, right? So And then I looked into his sleep cycle. So I was like, okay. So apparently he did segmented sleeping, but also what I can get into now is, I don't know if maybe you've heard of this, Daniel, the DEC2 gene, which
I haven't heard of it. I'm not too familiar, but I'm assuming it's involved with your some type of circadian rhythm.
yeah. So they were saying, because a lot of so it's a really rare mutation, but if you have this mutation, your body is okay with sleeping, only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep. So they were speculating that he had that. So I wrote some stuff down.
So
You hear the page flip?
You have me captured.
Okay. So let me just read what I wrote, because I was just, whatever. So I put, reading that Kobe Bryant only got 3 to 4 hours of sleep really challenged my perspective on sleep. I put, from what I understand, getting a good night's sleep is detrimental to a person's health, muscle recovery, brain health, lowered stress levels, or not in a bad way.
Okay,
I get what you mean,
okay.
but like heart disease, right? You produce more HGH, which is used for recovery.
Mm.
I said, but when I read that Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, only functioned on 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, it went against like my rationale on sleeping. I understand he was Kobe Bryant at the end of the day, but I feel no matter who you are, lack of sleep will catch up to you. So I started doing research. What was Kobe Bryant doing differently? And then that's when I stumbled across segmented sleep cycle. And I could tell you what that is. I could tell you the definition right now.
I do have a lot of things to say already. So
Yeah, me too.
So, a segmented sleep cycle is a sleep pattern in which your night's sleep is divided into 2 separate chunks with a period of wakefulness in between. So, before I get into that, I want to get into the DEC2 gene, the mutation. So, what this mutation allows for is the human body to be okay with 4 to 6 hours of sleep, sometimes 3. And Kobe Bryant is thought to have used this, have had this gene mutation, but also practice his segmented sleep cycle. I'm probably going to butcher his name. Ying Hu Fu. He was a neurology professor from the University of San Francisco, and he discovered this mutation in a family of natural short sleepers. So what he did was he engineered mice to have the same mutation of the DEC2 gene, and what this gene does is it helps control levels of orexin, which is the hormone involved in maintaining wakefulness, which is why you feel awake. So this hormone is constantly produced. And this also causes a sleep disorder if you have not enough of it. And I was wondering if you guys are able to guess that.
Guess what?
If you don't have enough of this hormone, you have a sleep disorder, a certain sleep disorder.
Is it narcolepsy?
Yeah. So that's why if people aren't producing enough of this orexin hormone, you get narcolepsy. That's the disorder where people just randomly fall asleep. So I thought that was interesting. And how this DEC2 gene or mutation works, it works by partially releasing the brakes on orexin production. So the DEC2 gene regulates circadian rhythm, and your circadian rhythm dictates when hormones should be released and influences behaviors such as eating and sleeping, which is why you rise during the day and then you get tired at night. So
I'm getting excited.
I want to hear. Like,
excited.
I'm kind of like not rushing through, but I'm blasting through.
You're prefacing.
So, I would like, because you just rubbed your hands together, so you probably have a lot to say. So I would like to hear.
Yeah, this might be the one time Daniel might pop an erection on the show. he's getting that excited. Never seen you so happy before.
It's circadian rhythm is like very like complex. But before I get into that, I just want to say my attitude on sleeping. It's extreme, but I could sleep when I die. Of course, I need sleep in between that, but that's just like That's just like an attitude that I have for it, because like, dude, I can't live with the fact that we spend a third of our life sleeping. Like, that's a lot of time for one life that we know we only have, or as far as we know. So like, it's like, you know, it goes with what we said before. What are you gonna remember? Are you gonna remember like going out? Are you gonna remember like, you know, going in, sleeping early, even though you might feel good in the morning? But you know, I think that could change. I think there's something, and I'm not too sure on this, but you could develop genetic, you can have adaptations in your genome. So like, if you work out and you're like, you're very I don't know how to like get to this situation, but you could pass down good, you could develop good traits and pass them down. I don't know how to arrive to that exactly, but I've heard there are like I think I'm trying to think of the word, but there are it's not permanent. I don't think there are definitely things you can change, but do you guys feel that you feel that you need sleep?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
like
not
physically, right?
Yeah, I'm not exactly. Yeah, obviously everyone
Yeah.
does, but I'm not exactly sure how much I need, which is what I'll get into later. I did an experiment and I tried the segmented sleep cycle for like 3-4 days, and I can tell you guys how I felt.
Okay.
Dude, I'm excited. I want to try it out already.
So, yeah.
Well, like, one thing to answer your question, Daniel. I mean, I feel like you guys know me. Like, I've always felt like I need sleep. Like, I need at least like 7 hours to function. And it wasn't not too long ago. I don't know if you guys remember. Like, last semester we were having this discussion, right, about how much sleep we all need. And last semester definitely like changed changed my point of view, because there was, I don't know if you remember me sharing, but like there was like weeks where I would only get like 4 hours of sleep a night just from how busy I was, but I felt fine. Right. And I did that for a few weeks, but the thing with me is I crashed though. After a few weeks, like I crashed hard. I didn't really get sick, but I just couldn't focus. And I noticed that on exams or assignments, I would make very simple mistakes. I just didn't have the focus that I normally had. So even though I felt fine physically, I definitely noticed like a little bit of some negative side effects on like my mental capacity or capabilities.
Right.
And then lately, I've been sleeping a fuck ton. But I don't know if that's like, there's just too many variables. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be because I'm not eating well or I'm not exercising.
Are you sleeping? You mean a fuck ton at night, or like taking naps? Or not?
At night. At night. Yeah. Nothing segmented.
Okay.
It's just like
Because that's also considered segmented sleeping, is when
taking naps.
taking naps during the day.
Oh, one thing I want to add too. I did read a lot about this actually at one point. Apparently, whatever. This is a while ago, but when I was reading about this, they were saying that was very common back then.
Yeah. What?
Throughout like most of human history, is it would be 2 4-hour blocks, right?
Yeah.
Like people would sleep for 4 hours. They would wake up, do some like chores, midnight snack, whatever, and then sleep.
Yeah,
for
I'll get
4.
more into the history of it. It was for a reason, because that time that you were awake in the middle of the night was considered like very
It's like personal time, right?
yeah, but also like very I don't know, for the lack of a better word, holy. Like it was very important. Also, they would say for conceiving, they would tell you that
Oh, really?
yeah, conceiving wouldn't be the best time. Wouldn't be at the start of the day. It would be
In the middle of
after
the
your first sleep.
Huh.
That was a big thing too.
There's different, like according, like in the circadian rhythm, the way it is, it's like a clock, and you're like all your organs and all all the like biological systems in your body are like in a different like they go set off at different times, they stop at different times, and that's why sleep is important. In that aspect is that they're like essentially sleep is like a recovery time.
Yeah. So what I'm saying too is like, I'm not saying to go and do this segmented sleep cycle and it's going to be better than your 8 hours of sleep.
No, but it's
You know what
something
I mean?
cool to try.
But it's something, it might work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can go and try this and it might make you feel better.
It's an alternative.
Yeah.
I heard I went to a conference which is funny because this guy was good friends with Kobe as well. I went to a conference last year. It was C Superb. His name is Paolo Sassoni Corsi, and he's Italian, and that's kind of how he met Kobe. So he does research at he has a lot of research institutes. I know he has one in Irvine, and that's where Kobe would fun fact, that's where like Kobe would train. So like that's cool. This guy's research is so emphasized on circadian rhythms and body regulation. And I got to see him speak at the conference, and he was talking about circadian rhythms and its relation to cancer. And long story short, he said that because like a lot of the people there are students, and a lot of people don't get enough sleep, or it's not a very stable sleep schedule. And we're talking how it's that sleep is necessary for, because like if you're not sleeping, I'm not too sure, but it like will lower your lifespan, because you need to sleep. Like you definitely need sleep. If you didn't sleep, you'd probably die within like I don't know. I need to look up the statistic, but this is cool that you brought this up because it's something to look into like deeper.
But that's the thing too about why I was so like I guess astonished how you're saying now that if you don't get enough sleep, it decreases your lifespan.
Yeah.
But Kobe Bryant over here, right? Getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and he's able to, and he's one of the healthiest dudes on the planet.
Do you think? But there are.
Do you think so?
There are things that
Was.
Oh God, sorry. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Okay, let's just put that out there.
There are
I was waiting for
things-
that. I was like,
I think there are things to
Completely. Jesus
counterbalance that, because what Dr. Corsi said at the conference is that I know you don't get the lack of sleep, but you know what I would recommend? Intermittent fasting and just exercising. And do you think maybe Kobe's correlation,
exercise, like
his
supplemented?
level of activity is what kind of maybe led to this development?
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like he said, he was fine. He was okay with 3 to 4 hours of sleep. But if you're working out on lack of sleep, are you getting as much as you can out of it?
So that's what I was telling James, because like I think I was telling you this about around last year. There was a time where I would get back from school and I would nap. I would enter this thing called a slump mode.
oh, the slump mode. Yeah, I remember that.
Slump mode.
I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just needed to just nap, and I would nap for like an hour, 2 hours, and then I would stay up later. But now I'm at the point, and I like my roommate. He was like, "Dude, you're not gonna be able to work out. Like, wouldn't you prefer to work out and get all your work done rather than sleep?" And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And I found that even though like there would be days where I would be just so exhausted, and I like, this is why a gym buddy is so great, because they're gonna drag you there regardless. But once I got there and I started to work out, and afterwards I was just re-energized. I was awake and alert. So maybe that has some type of, because I know when you exercise you are producing ATP,
Which is
as well as you. The full name is adenosine triphosphate.
It's like energy.
And
right?
it is, basically it's an energy molecule. That's how your body runs. And so you need that to function. It's produced from
sounds
carbohydrates.
like a rap name. ATP.
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 It's a highly unstable molecule, and when it breaks, it releases a lot of energy. It's got a. Never mind. I don't want to talk about that. But
No, I mean it's they're all connected, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is something that I've been wondering lately, though, is if exercise is worth the lack of sleep,
Mhm.
right? If it's worth to sacrifice sleep
Would you
to
rather
get
sleep or
a rep in at the
exercise?
gym, yeah. Or like it's like what you said too. Is there some type of diminishing returns with that?
Yeah.
Like, are you not only going to be more tired, but you're also not getting the same type of benefit that you would normally get from the
Yeah.
gym if you're not well
is it
rested?
does it
Yeah.
basically
are you
harm your body
efficient?
more?
Yeah.
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 Oh man. Jeez.
Jeez.
No, this is cool. This is something.
So just to go into a little more about another gene that's connected to the DEC2 gene. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Maybe you could say, Daniel. The M right there. Is it MYOD1?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say genes.
Genes
yeah.
are so like.
So the MYOD1 gene turns on orexin production, and orexin is the hormone.
Can you clarify that word again?
Orexin.
Orexin?
Orexin.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was gonna say it.
You're
All right.
thinking erection.
That's what I've been hearing this whole
Oh,
time.
orexin. Sorry. OREXIN. Yeah.
Orexin.
Just the word you need to. Okay.
Yeah,
The
just the
hormone
word.
that gives you
Just the
erections.
But I'll just to
Talking
reiterate.
about erection time.
Just to reiterate, it's the hormone involved in maintaining wakefulness. But this is connected to the DEC2 gene. So the DEC2 gene binds at night, and progesterone increases, hence feeling sleepy. And then during the day, the DEC2 falls off, allowing the MYOD1 gene, which turns on the orexin production, which is why you feel awake. And so so this mutation seen in the short sleepers, the DEC2 gene is actually weakened. So it weakens the mutation to put the brakes on the MYOD1, which turns on orexin production, leading to more orexin production, hence causing people with the mutation to be able to stay awake longer and be okay with less sleep. So I was supposed to ask these questions in the beginning of the podcast, but I was really nervous.
Nah, I like it, dude. You're doing great.
Yeah,
So-
that's a lot of information.
We kind of talked about it. Yeah, I know. I kind of threw a lot of information out, but
no, I think it's good. I like it.
we kind of talked about this a long time ago. I think it was on the podcast, but I don't know if you guys know, but how much sleep do you guys average at night, and how do you feel? We'll just
I
start with
could
this.
just go first since everyone's thinking. I feel like I have my answer ready. I'm lately I've been extremely inconsistent. So there's been some nights where I've literally slept for like 10 hours. And then there's other nights where I sleep for 5.
Can you kind of weigh the two, and if you felt better sleeping 10, or if you felt better sleeping 5?
I think I don't know. It's just too variable for me to like say.
Okay.
I feel, but like let me say. Last night I got around a little over 5 hours, maybe 5.5, and I feel fine. I feel good right now. But I'll say like there was a night last week where I'm pretty sure I was in bed for like 10 hours, and I felt okay too. So it's just kind of all over the place. What blows my mind though is that when I was getting only like 4 hours of sleep, 4 hours a night, physically I felt fine.
Mhm.
And even mentally I did feel okay. I felt clear, but I was, like I said, I was just making those mistakes and I was catching them after the fact. But
That's what I said earlier, is that you felt fine in the moment,
Mhm.
but eventually it caught up to you.
it did. Yeah, it did.
So that's why I was kind of questioning Kobe Bryant's sleep schedule.
Mhm.
Well, maybe it needs some like conditioning, like
Yeah.
consistent conditioning,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Or
like
that too.
we're it's very variable. So maybe that's why it catches up to us. Like it's kind of like how it's not exactly how intermittent fasting is, but if you like, for me, like it was hard to eat. Like if I missed a week, or if I was consistent one week and then I wasn't consistent one day, in a short period of time, I'd feel hungry. But like now for doing it for like 2 years consistently, it's like normal. Like it's something I don't have to eat food. I don't have to think about food. Like I know that my eating time is in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something that
And that's the thing, but like, yeah, it catches up with you, but can you train your body to be okay with?
Well, one thing too I'll say though is that it caught up to me, but nothing else was consistent in my life. I wasn't exercising regularly. I wasn't eating well.
Yeah,
I
forget about those variables. But
yeah, so like I could have literally just been a ticking time bomb. You know, I was doing anything that my body needed.
To actually like experiment this, it needs to be like consistent and like enforce
in other
like,
ways,
control values.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, it could Kobe Bryant could be that the pinnacle.
It could
of that,
be,
you know?
yeah, absolutely.
We definitely had the resources to do that,
Yeah.
right? Like it was his job to stay in shape, to fuel his body, to exercise.
Yeah. And apparently that dude apparently pooped like 6 times a day.
Really?
Yeah.
From how much he ate, or what, or just how fast his metabolism
Yeah,
was?
or just I guess that's just how healthy he was. I don't know if that attributes to great health.
Yeah, I don't.
But
maybe I don't know if it has anything to do
lot of
with how
fiber.
much. I know for all his level of activity, he needed to be eating.
Yeah, at the top of his game.
A good amount. So I don't know if that has something to do with.
But
it,
you hear the stories all the time. Well, I don't know if you guys have, but like when my dad used to, 'cause my dad loved Kobe Bryant, but he used to watch ESPN all the time, and you know when he was on the Lakers, but you hear stories all the time of people of people going to work out, and then he's coming out drenched in sweat already.
Yeah.
You know, and he's already put in like 2 to 3 hours, and they're like, "What the hell?" It's like
crazy.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
But it's because that leads back to his sleep cycle, because he only slept, like in a 2-hour chunk, 2-3 hour chunk, from 2 to whatever. He worked out, and then
one thing that I wonder, because I think it's pretty. Everyone agrees that the pinnacle to health is going to be like fitness, nutrients or diet, and sleep, right? And I wonder if there is one that is more important than the other, because we could say that the majority of the population probably does not eat healthy and does not exercise regularly, right? I think that would probably be safe to say.
Or they probably don't even get a great amount of sleep or quality sleep.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. But I feel like it's probably normal to find people who sleep more and lack in the other two than the other way around, right? That are eating phenomenally, exercising regularly, but aren't sleeping much. So I'm wondering if it's like a balancing act. Like maybe you could sacrifice 1 out of those 3 or 2 out of those 3.
The other 2 you could just carry.
But you need to be consistent with the other 2. Because I feel like it's easier to be consistent with sleep for the majority of people than exercise and diet. Sleep's free, but it costs money to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And it costs, and it doesn't have to, but
I think there are
gym
more
membership
chances
costs
of you
money.
getting sleep than doing anything other
Yeah.
than that, for sure.
Yeah. And it's the one that's inactive of those 3, right? Everything else takes energy. It takes.
Dude, I never actually thought about how I felt. Like, I never sat down and thought do I feel good with 4 hours of sleep versus 8 hours of sleep? And I don't think I think too much about that. I think in terms of more productivity. I think the productivity outweighs the level of sleep, for sure. That's why I don't think I necessarily felt considered how I actually felt. I do right now. I feel light. I feel lighter. I feel lighter in my eyes, lighter in my face.
How much sleep did you get last night?
4.5 hours.
Is that what you average?
Yeah, I would say 4 to 5 hours. But I don't know. It just it's consistency though.
Yeah.
So that's maybe. I think that is definitely has a big factor on it, because if you throw something, it's kind of so the circadian rhythm, right? It has a schedule. You throw something bizarre at it, it's it has to react. It has to stabilize, and it's gonna counteract in some way. But I think if you have a consistent schedule, it's kind of people on keto. If they eat keto and the moment they have carbs, they're shocking their body, and their body's gonna inflame. Or intermittent fasting, when you break your fast and instead of properly breaking your fast with something that's very low in like sugar and carbohydrates, you break it with like this big meal, you're shocking your body because you're giving it all the sugar all at once, and it's going to cause like an insulin spike, and it's going to cause like there's like consequences to that. So like I think your body has to adapt, and it needs a proper amount of time to adapt before it can establish some type of
Like baseline.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. What about you, Phil? Your average sleep?
My average sleep, I would say, depends on my workload. You know, like when I was at the stadium, there's a certain point on the job where overtime becomes a big thing. And, you know, when I first started, I was working 6, 12 to 16-hour days. And I was kind of like Daniel. I would say there's no rest for the wicked. You know, it's time to work. So my sleep depends on what my workload is. Right now, it's very light because the job just started. But I would say, even though it's kind of bad to say that, you know, I enjoy the 12 to 16-hour days, 6 days a week, because for some reason I know that I'm just moving. And it sucks getting up, but once I'm going, I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sucks when it comes Sunday and I sleep for 10 hours and let my body rest, and then I get to really feel how much I put it through the week prior. But with and for some reason when I have a light workload and I sleep more, I feel like I'm less productive. You know, I come home, I'm more lazy. It's even harder for me to get up in the morning.
That would be like a shock, like equivalent to that. I would say it's like
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
That would be that, I think. But dude, I'm gonna try this out.
Dude, I want to
I'm
hear
actually-
how you felt doing it. Because I kind of want to try too.
I have some things about it. It might not be the result you're expecting, but it could be because of a certain factor, which I'll get into. But I want to get into the origin, not the origin, but the history of segmented sleeping. So I have a good article here. It is from a website called ScienceAlert.com. And the title of the article is "Humans Used to Sleep in 2 Shifts, and Maybe We Should Do It Again." This was written April 4th, 2018.
By
Melinda Jackson and Siobhan Banks. I don't know how to say it.
Siobhan Banks. I like the name though.
So it's a little long. I thought it wasn't that long, but maybe I can just read through certain chunks of it.
You could read the. Is it an article or is it?
Yeah, it's an article.
You could try to. I don't know if they have an abstract.
I don't think so. It's like a web article.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'll read the beginning. I'll read the pros and cons as well.
Okay.
I think that's very important. But yeah, I'll just kind of read the history of it. So let me start here. It says around a third of the population have trouble sleeping, including difficulties maintaining sleep throughout the day. And just to point out, obviously this is an article. You know, it may not apply to you. It's just a different perspective. But continuing, it says, while nighttime awakenings are distressing for most sufferers, there is some evidence from our recent past that suggests this period of wakefulness occurring between 2 separate sleep periods was the norm. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of segmented sleep, from medical texts to court records and diaries, and even in African and South American tribes, with a common reference to first and second sleep. In Charles Dickens' Barnaby Rudge, 1840, he writes, he knew this, quote, in quotes, he knew this even in the horror with which he started from his first sleep, and threw up the window to dispel it by the presence of some object beyond the room, which had not been, as it were, the witness of his dream. Anthropologists have found evidence that during pre-industrial Europe, bimodal sleeping was considered the norm. Sleep onset was determined not by a set bedtime, but by whether there were things to do. Historian A. Roger Eckert's book, At Day's Close, Night in Times Past, describes how households at this time retired a couple of hours after dusk, woke a few hours later for 1 to 2 hours, and then had a second sleep until dawn. During this waking period, people would relax, ponder their dreams, or have sex. Some would engage in activities like sewing, chopping wood, or reading, relying on the light of the moon or oil lamps. Eckhart found references to the first and second sleep started to disappear during the late 17th century. This is thought to have started in the upper classes in Northern Europe and filtered down to the rest of Western society over the next 200 years. Interestingly, the appearance of sleep maintenance insomnia in the literature in the late 19th century coincides with the periods where accounts of split sleep start to disappear. Thus, modern society may place unnecessary pressure on individuals that they must obtain a night of continuous consolidated sleep every night, adding to the anxiety about sleep and perpetuating the problem. Biological basis. Less dramatic forms of biphasic sleep are evident in today's society. For example, in cultures that take an afternoon siesta, which is like a little nap. Our body clock lends itself to such a schedule, having a reduction in alertness in the early afternoon, the so-called post-lunch dip.
Can I say that you already lost me?
I know. There's just a lot of evidence. Like I didn't know how to. I didn't want to do a disservice and like.
Yeah, it's not you. It's me.
Oh,
as soon as I start hearing something go on and on, my thoughts start like pushing whatever I'm hearing out, and my thoughts start taking over.
I lost my attention too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I was following.
Thanks, James.
I was following.
Well, I mean,
No, it's fine. I want to get as much information as I can out.
Yeah.
I just really couldn't. I really couldn't find a way to
paraphrase it.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot
of good details.
So it's a good thing you could rewind this and listen back.
Yeah. Oh, well, the other thing too is it's one thing if people are very interested, they can go and do the research themselves.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm not saying this is for everyone. It's just apparently it's something that as humans we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. There's accounts of this, but I don't know if there's ever accounts of people like, oh yeah, I'd feel sleepy all the time because of this, or like there's not
like negative effects.
Yeah, obviously now there's a lot of evidence and as to why we need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm not going to disregard that evidence from scientists and people who have.
No, there's a lot of like it's supposed to be taken like with a grain of salt. Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
But like there are obviously going to be papers that counter argue this, and there are papers that are going to be for this. So it's for people to actually look into and try themselves.
Yeah. So there's a little thing here about a psychiatrist who conducted a laboratory experiment, which I want to read. So in the early 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Ware conducted a laboratory experiment in which he exposed a group of people to a short photo period. That is, they were left in darkness for 14 hours every day instead of the typical 8 hours for a month.
Okay.
It took some time for their sleep to regulate, but by the fourth week, a distinct two-phase sleep pattern emerged. They slept for 4 hours, then woke for 1 to 3 hours before falling into a second 4-hour sleep. This finding suggests biphasic sleep is a natural process with a biological basis. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, is it so much that, like, how do we know for sure? There might be like a lot of evidence on this, but just how do we know for sure that 8 hours
is what we need? I don't think we do. Like, as humans, we're extremely adaptable. We are made to be able to change with certain situations.
We're very durable.
We're very durable. And that's the thing. A lot of these studies, when it comes to something like that, there is no universal truth because we're all so different. And they're going to say 6 to 8 is true for most people, right? Mm-hmm. But what is most?
I can't.
And how can they assign a number to that?
It could be like another like misadvertised like stigma, or like it could be something that was set in stone a while back but never was reasoned or like told why. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there's a reason for sleeping exactly 8 hours. I've never heard an argument on why you should sleep 8 hours. I just know that circadian rhythm play, but even the circadian rhythm is like very dynamic. It's not like there's like a lot, like there's things that are going on during the day and there are things that are, but all I know is that you just need to be consistent with it, not necessarily I'm sorry. I'm fighting. I'm like, there's like advocates in my head right now. Circadian rhythm, you need what activates you during the day. It's the light, and it stimulates your brain molecules. Like it. But anyways, it's random thought. I'm kind of curious how it works with blind people. I want to see. I'm interested to see how that works. That's what my mind jumped to that earlier. It's like, dude, how does we should
just fucking do a study, man? I want to do study. But yeah, but I don't like. Yeah, there's accounts of people, what do you say, in the 17th century or 16th. There's accounts of these segmented sleeps, but what I was saying earlier, if it wasn't the right way to sleep, would there also be an increase in accounts of like things that are wrong with their health, or increased, I don't know, like brain function, or increased mental illness?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Well, we shouldn't go ahead and try it out.
No, yeah. But that's my thing.
No,
like,
fuck it, dude. That's science, bro.
But I feel like that would coincide with it. If there's accounts of this, there's also these researchers also should have stumbled upon like increased accounts of health problems.
There's probably loads of experiments going on now. So like, if we look into it, maybe we could try to piece it together.
Yeah. I think ultimately, though, you're not going to find an answer for yourself in an article. Like we're all so different. You need to find out what works for you. It just keeps
getting, everyone's body is very, very different. So it's not going to be.
It's like diet and exercise. Like you can't just say, "Oh, this is the exercise routine that's going to work for everyone."
And it's different. It varies because of genetics. There are things that are being produced that you produce in your body more than others, and there's people who produce less of what you're producing. Just like Kobe, like if he really has this gene inherited or developed this gene, his body's he needs less sleep. So there's no for sure telling what it is just yet. But like that's all research is. It's narrowing down the idea of like some of a concept or a mechanism,
pinpointing something.
Yeah.
So the Robert A. Eckridge, the individual who wrote the book about this whole segmented sleep cycle, he was kind of not the founder, but he really pushed the narrative for it. So that's why they reference him. Sorry for the voice crack. So he attributes the initial shift to improvements, the initial shift of getting 8 hours of sleep, and saying goodbye to segmented sleep cycle, to improvements in street lighting, domestic lighting, a surge in coffee houses, increase in light, what you were saying earlier, that it wakes you up, a surge in coffee houses, which were sometimes open all night, as the night became a place for legitimate activity, and as that activity increased, the length of time people could dedicate to rest dwindled. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, but
I would like to see how they would compare, like major cities, like compare New York to Las Vegas to Los Angeles, on the frequent sleep people get within those cities,
especially compared to like rural areas in our country.
And that's why they say, like you need to keep your phone away. Don't sleep with the TV on, nothing, because any light is like it's gonna interfere with a proper sleep schedule, because it's gonna mess with that circadian rhythm.
Definitely.
So-
I guess I could go into. I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
2 nights.
Yeah,
How-
sorry, 2
how you
nights.
feeling?
2 nights.
What days did you do?
I did Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
So
2 4-hour cycles.
I did. Okay, let me just lay it out. So I made mental notes of how I felt with the regular amount of sleep that I got. So Monday through Wednesday, so Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, I think I averaged around like 7 or 8. But I didn't feel I'm sure you guys noticed I don't feel too great sleeping anyways, because I mean I sleep on a couch. So it's not
No,
quality sleep, right?
yeah.
So that could be the factor in this. So waking up those days, and it was kind of weird, like documenting how I felt in the morning because I had never done that. I just like, I feel like shit, and you just go on with the day, right? So
Like
my
most days.
yeah. So the common things that I felt extremely groggy. My body hurt, like my legs and my arms. I felt like this. I feel like a fog around my brain. I feel like I can't quite wake up. I can't snap out of like feeling that in the morning.
Mm.
Like it's either I just have to rough it out, you know,
Drink
just go
some
through
coffee,
go
like
through
people.
the day. Maybe like an hour or two later, I'll
You'll be awake.
start to completely wake up. It took me it takes me kind of a while to get out of bed because I just lay there because I feel like shit. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just lay here, you know, wait for a little bit, be on my phone, you know, the usual. It'll kind of activate things in my body to wake me up. Nope, didn't feel better. Monday through Wednesday, right?
Nope.
So Tuesday and Friday,
Thursday
night. Sorry. I dedicated 10. It was 10 to 1
for sleep.
for sleep, and I woke up at 1, and it sucked. That first waking up sucked. I'll tell you that. But just trying to stay awake. So I tried to do things. I did a little bit of homework. I meditated. And then I also researched during that time. That chunk of wakefulness, quote unquote. And then from 3 to 5 is when my second sleep. So that was only 2 hours. I wouldn't say there was a significant increase in how I felt, but I will say that I did feel a little bit better from doing that segmented sleep cycle. That first 3 hours and then 2, so that was 5 altogether. So the next day I decreased the sleep. So I did I just by an hour. So I did 11 to 1 and then the same stayed awake from 1 to 3 and then I did 3 to 5. And also not a significant increase in how I felt, but I definitely felt better that day than doing 5 hours.
Could be too that like you're starting to maybe get used to it.
Yeah. So I can't really attribute it to anything. You know, like you were saying earlier, it could be a lot of factors.
Yeah.
It's too little. It's too small of a
Like a data
Because
set.
this is the thing. I don't know if me sleeping 8 hours, I feel shit in the morning. It's because it's not quality sleep. You know, I could just, you know, sleeping 8 hours doesn't always mean that you're rested.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe I'm supposed to sleep in segmented sleep cycles, you know, because I'm not going to deny the fact that I did feel a little bit better. It wasn't dramatic, but I feel like I was able to wake up. I was able to wake up quicker and get up out of bed. But I will say that I got a lot done.
Oh, between those
between like waking up, like between 1 and 3, it was hard to. It was very hard to do. You know, I was sleepy. but I just had to like, oh, no, you gotta stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. I would say it added a lot to my day. Like I was able to research a lot. I was able to get a lot of homework done. So that was pretty cool. I was very, very productive.
You know what the cool thing about that is too, is that you have no distractions.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like,
you just get dialed in. I think so. When I would study for exams, there are times where I'm just actually exhausted and I can't pull the full stretch. So I'll go to bed for 2 hours, and I'll wake up and everyone's asleep, and I just sit down and I'm just I get to it, and just
I will say like it's very peaceful waking up at 1 when everyone's asleep and
more focused.
You're just like you can just dial in.
I do push-ups.
Did you do this last night as well or no?
No, I didn't do it on Saturday. Just Thursday, Friday.
One thing I've now that we've been talking about this, one thing I've realized is whenever I have those nights where I only get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep or less, I do notice that I wake up a lot faster.
Yeah.
Like even this morning, like I was up and I was ready to go. Versus those times where I sleep many hours, I know what you mean. Like it's hard to wake up. You feel foggy. It takes forever to finally like snap out of it.
Get out of bed. But
I wonder if there's any correlation between like how long you've been asleep, in terms of like why it's like harder to wake up. Maybe I don't know.
I'm interested into seeing if there's like some type of recipe for perfect sleep. Like, and that's like maybe you can't have stress. Maybe it's like the material you're sleeping on. I'm kind of like curious. Like a whole bunch of like different ideas are like firing up right now. In terms of that.
Yeah. Hold on. I remember reading.
Dude, I definitely want to try this though.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
If anyone's down, we could like
try
it. Hold each other accountable.
I said we try it for like 2 weeks.
At least.
At least.
I think
what time do you start work?
Huh?
What time do you start work?
6.
Okay. I thought if you wanted to, you could, but
no, I already know I'm one of those people that if I wake up, I can't go back to sleep. I'm one of those people.
I would say, that was a little hard too. Because after you're awake for 2 hours, it's kind of hard to fall into sleep again. But it wasn't like I'd have my eyes closed for 20 minutes and nothing happened. It just took a little longer to adjust.
Fall back asleep. It might just need some training.
Yeah.
Just some repetition.
It wasn't like I was like, God damn it, why can't I fall asleep? But it was just like, okay.
I would think you'd need to do it for at least like a month to get
an
honest.
The longer, the better.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, you could obviously just take what I say with a grain of salt. Because I know I need longer.
My body's an experiment. Like,
yeah.
I can literally try everything.
That's the thing. I was super excited. I was super excited to try this. Just reading, all the research that I put out and I said. I don't know. I felt like I just felt like I was in pre-industrial Europe,
You have a little candle,
waking up at 1, just doing a little,
work. Sounds good.
Some wood chopping.
It sounds good at that time of that morning. A glass of whiskey.
At 1? Okay.
1.
Now you're pushing it.
I agree with you, Daniel.
That sounds really good.
I was thinking some like cookies, but yeah, sure, whiskey
There's
too.
sometimes in the morning where you wake up real early, you're like, oh, a glass of whiskey sounds nice.
Yeah, I've never felt that.
I'm salivating.
I think the one thing that we need to also talk about when it comes to Kobe Bryant is that he was an enormously talented person.
Yeah.
And driven to be the greatest. While being that driven, he also was very dedicated to the idea of being a family man. That's sadly why one of the reasons why he passed away is using that helicopter so that he can get home to his family. But I don't think us normal people should compare ourselves to someone that has a legacy that was working so hard to become a legend.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we should try to do is maybe try this, try segmented sleeping. But other thing people should do is just listen to your body, and also be very disciplined in the idea that you don't need to stay up late if you're not being productive. You know,
That's
if you're being productive, yes, it's one thing to stay up late and get shit done. But if you're not doing anything, if you're watching TV, if you're fucking on your phone, you know, you're wasting time, then what's the point of being awake? Go to sleep.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, people. That was another thing that I was reading, that people don't really care about. I guess I don't know the word for it.
There's no need for an adaptation if it's like there's no reason for it if the environment is not like suited for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing too. Why we do that? Because I used to think about that a lot. Because I've noticed myself after about 8:39, I'm hardly ever productive. It's just like entertainment or just relaxing. And I always wondered, like, why do I stay awake? Like if I'm just relaxing when I get sleep. And I think what I felt, and maybe what a lot of other people feel, is that I don't want my day to end because I don't want my next day to start yet.
Yeah, I
You know?
definitely feel that.
Like, because going to bed means, all right, this day's over, time to get ready for the next day. And I know for myself, when I'm feeling or if I'm like very in a like procrastinating mood, that's when I'll stay up late because I don't want to do tomorrow. And sleeping just means it gets here faster.
Yeah, I will say that period of wakefulness that I got, or that I did, I think that feeling actually diminished because between that time I was able to do whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? So I feel like when you start your day, it's not on your terms.
Yeah.
It's on school. It's on work. If you like your job, obviously, you know, but
But it's still dictated.
still
yeah, it
is
still
something-
dictates. It still
something
dictates.
external.
It's dictating your day. You know, you're not, I guess, quote unquote, doing what you want. So that was I would say that's something I definitely felt, that I was able, you know, for those 2 hours is my time. I can do whatever I want, whether homework, whether go for a run, whether
That's pretty cool.
do research for, you know, podcast topics, whether I just sit there and meditate, but you know, it's my time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I think there's one thing too about waking up that early. I used to hate waking up before the sun was up. I used to hate it. But there's one thing that's extremely peaceful, which you touched on, and I think that has to deal with our consciousness. Like, I'm a true believer that there's something about our consciousness that we truly will never understand, because during the day when the sun is up, when, you know, on this side of the world, the sun is up and everyone is awake, for me, I feel like there's always something going on in my head that I don't truly think clearly, you know, like there's just a weight there. But as soon as it gets into the late hours where everyone starts falling asleep, you know, midnight, 1, 2, I feel like, you know, things become a little more clear. My thoughts are a little more, I don't know, provocative. It's just more stimulating at that point. And I'm pretty sure all of us at some point in our lives has stayed up late with friends, with whoever it may be, a family member, someone, and you had just a really heartfelt, warm conversation that made you look at them differently. Like, this person truly understands what I'm getting. You
Definitely.
know? And I wish it was something that we can, you know, truly understand, but I feel like the brain and the consciousness will never truly get to.
Yeah, it just seems something that's locked away and deep rooted, you know, and it's hard to
It's just
I guess
very,
unlock.
it's just very complex.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to pinpoint, like, because there's so many things that are going on like simultaneously. It's hard to pinpoint, and like the same thing with this. Like, it's gonna take several variations of like attempting like this, but
yeah.
with the consciousness, yeah, where it's just very complex. That maybe one day, but it's very intense. It's gonna be needs to be intensified.
Yeah. Well, one thing too is that you have to realize we're figuring out ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Like, we're a bunch of brains trying to figure out brains. We're never going to be unbiased, and that has to have an effect on that when you're trying to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you kind of said earlier, I'm not. Yeah, I hate waking up before the sun's up.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me. I don't know. Just just to say it makes me depressed. Like it literally does. I don't know, like I don't know what it is, you know. But I would say that that's a feeling that diminished as well with doing this segmented sleep. Was waking up at 1. It wasn't like the sun's not even up. Like it was kind of like I don't know. To me, it was excitement, and I don't know if it was just because I'm doing like a scientific experiment. You know, I get to tell my friends about it. You know, but I genuinely felt excited waking up at that time and being able to be productive and get work done. It wasn't like, oh God, you know, the depression is on set. So, but I will say that I felt excited to wake up at that time and you stay awake for 2 hours, even though my body didn't feel excited, you know, and I couldn't.
Like once you just like get out of it, it's like you said, like once you just get moving and get started, then it's like it's easy from there. You just need to build the momentum.
Yeah,
and I think that's something you can. That's you have to. It's something that you have to practice. Repeat.
And it might be a thing where, you know, I feel excited because I get to work in that time, but also I get another segment of sleep after that. You know, it's not that my day started.
It's a good way to look at it.
Like, oh, okay, if I get this work done, I could sleep for 2 to 3 hours more.
The day hasn't started yet. The day literally hasn't started yet.
So
it's crazy.
There's one thing that we say in the construction side is the hardest part of the day is waking up. You know, and from hearing that, you know, because people know that construction is a hard thing to do, especially concrete. You know, but it's very true that the hardest. I know what you're laughing at, by the way.
Me too.
What?
It's the second hardest thing.
Second hardest thing in the morning.
Your but quote.
It really is, because anything that comes after that is stuff that you've already experienced. You know, so it is the hardest part of the day is just waking up.
I think I've been practicing being more alone, and honestly, like it's like anything. If you don't like it, but you can learn to like it, and it's not necessarily forcing yourself, but the more you can decide later on after trying something for so long if you want to do it or not. But like now I'm like actually enjoying it, you know. Like yesterday I spent like before. So one of the things I did hate, like staying up all night, is I just felt alone. Like everyone was like gone, sleeping, and I'm just like there, you know. That's the one thing I hated, but like now, like that would be very different. That'd be definitely cool to try.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, yeah, you guys should try it, or we all can do it at the same time. It's just like it is a little weird though. Like if we decide to try it, to allocate time. Okay, like it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah,
you know,
hard to do.
That's hard to do.
Be consistent. It's gonna be hard to get accurate.
But I think that says a lot about just society now. They just don't care about what time they go to bed. You know, they don't really care to get.
Well, it depends.
It depends on sleep.
It depends on even why you're pursuing this. It's what you said. Like not everyone needs this, but structure implies function, and those who need it are gonna like this is gonna be something that like they're gonna be geared towards. You know, if they're already getting little sleep as is, like Kobe, like that's his. You know, there's a reason. Like you know, like everything felt like is in place like that. You know. So I don't think people would even like people who have nothing to do are going to continue to sleep, and people who
like, and the people that you know are more productive like you could throw yourself in that basket of, you know, like Kobe, because you sleep very low hours. The only difference is you're not a legend at something. But you're working towards something that is worth accomplishing. You know, but most people will stay up late for no reason.
Yeah. And I don't think. Do you think Kobe works specifically to be a legend? Because I think that.
I think he did.
You think so?
I think he did.
I think because of his.
Or did he become a legend because he did what he loved so much? Like.
I think. I think there's. Well, he loved it, obviously. But I think he became a legend because of his work ethic. And I think it really did. He wanted to become
I think also the pressure of also wanting to be a family man while still not allowing the idea that I have to be a family man and play. Like I can't let either hinder each other.
Yeah.
You know, so that pushed him to be accountable to be a father and also be accountable towards his career and be an athlete.
I don't think it's just his career that made him a legend. It was a culmination of things. Like this guy, very well spoken. Like when like he's in the room and he's speaking, like you just want to listen.
Yeah.
You know, but like there's so many. He had like so many good qualities, and I think like no one wants like I don't know. Is there like someone who's like an asshole and is a legend? Like, can we? Or I think it's very like.
What's
like
the difference between legend and like infamous? You know what I mean? Because people will say Al Capone was a legend.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
Stalin, people might say he's.
I guess it's subjective. It's subjective, but literally, like there are a handful of but there's been a lot of time for a lot of legends to develop, but like as a collective, like this guy affected all parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like this is, and there's probably many people, but there are a handful of people that do that. It's a select amount of people. Like I wouldn't say for sure, I wouldn't recall Stalin, but I'm talking about like a collective as like a world, as a nation. So
yeah, a couple stories about him. So apparently, his first game as a Laker, and you could look at this up, or there's video of it, but he missed like what was it? It was between 5 and 7 maybe. He airballed like 3-pointers that game, and then the story was that because of that, he went back to the gym and he counted. I think it was up until like 900 shots. When he made 900 baskets is when he was going home because he missed those shots.
Made himself
but
accountable.
that's just who he was. You know what I mean? Like he understand what he was doing wrong, and he didn't leave until he was better. But I think that's the epitome of him. Like when, you know when you throw paper in the basket, Kobe, and you fucking do the fadeaway. When he died, that morning I did it, and I missed, right? And I was like, and I felt down on myself. I was like, man, I didn't honor him. But that's not him. What he would want is you'd pick it back up
and shoot
it again until you make it.
That Mamba mentality.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, Kobe isn't about making it. It's about if you
quitting.
miss it, you're gonna do whatever you can to not miss it ever again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought that was something beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I think what spoke to me the most about his death, I've never been a basketball kind of guy, What spoke to me is the amount of influence he had on all athletes, and not just being an athlete, but also how much of a family man he was.
Yeah.
That he was more than just a legend at basketball.
Yeah.
He inspired not only basketball players, but he inspired a lot of people to be accountable and have that Mamba mentality.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of shitty, but when someone on that magnitude dies, it kind of increases your thoughts and your it makes you hug people you love tighter, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that because of a death that happens, but I think those two come in hand in hand. You got to appreciate the people around you. Yeah, but damn, I'm hungry. my tummy rumbled. But
wait, can you do that again?
My tummy rumbled.
I'm gonna make that into a soundbite. Me, my new ringtone.
But I mean, yeah, that's just everything that I dove deep into. So it would be really cool if we would try it, experiment with it, or just try it on your own. For whoever's listening as well, if you want to, maybe it might help you. It might not. Maybe you need 8 hours. Maybe you need 7. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you need. So just I guess I don't know, just do things that
You know,
will potentially make
challenge
Yeah.
yourself.
I don't
Challenge
think,
yourself.
yeah, and I don't think you should decide to do things or not do things because you said, I need like this.
Yeah.
Or like, I think, because I've been trying to get my whole family on intermittent fasting, but like, I need breakfast. But like literally, what is breakfast? Like, can you like, breakfast is breaking of a fast.
Yeah.
And I think the U.S.
It's in the word.
It's in the word, and I don't know if it. I feel like it's been commercialized. It's been used like
100%.
cereals, all this. It's and
Oh, I fucking
like,
love cereal, dude.
nobody could give. There are probably there are benefits to having food in the morning. You need sugar in the brain, but like your brain, like there are capacities that your body can go at. So, like I think, and people just say they need. Oh, I get headaches, and that's already like the quick like snap out of it. Oh, I can't do this anymore, so they won't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like, I'm not saying it's for you, but I don't think you should say no to trying something just because your body reacts differently. It's, or like holding.
It's gonna react differently.
Yeah. It's like holding your breath, like underwater. You know, you start to panic and you think, oh, you can't do it, but no, that's how your body's supposed to react. You're gonna feel like certain different things. So I don't think that should be a part of the decision process. Like, if you need it, try it, or try it just whatever, you know. Like the more you try, the more you learn, and the more you could have a better decision to make.
You can pinpoint what your body needs and everything. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Breakfast food fucking smacks, dude.
Bro, have it for lunch.
I disagree,
You
man.
gotta have it in the morning. You don't like breakfast food?
I disagree.
I don't
Breakfast
know.
food is too. I feel
Dude, some like
gross.
eggs and hash
Like,
browns.
say you guys
Gross after.
wanted to go get some breakfast right now, I would order a fucking burger. I can't do
Yeah,
Yeah,
it.
I've
you
seen
always
that.
do that.
I've
Yeah,
seen
you
that.
always order burger.
Yeah.
It's just too heavy. I don't know, for especially for food.
I
Like,
don't know, like a
Dude,
good
bro.
fucking breakfast burrito.
That slice of ham.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
God.
hash browns.
My mouth's watering.
You're gonna make some people hungry Monday morning.
I'm already hungry.
Smacks, man.
But
dude, Andy, you did well, man. It was-
I was nervous,
solid.
dude.
Lot of
I was
information.
nervous.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're
I didn't
nervous,
think-
but you're very well prepared.
You see, when we actually research a fucking topic, how good it could be.
Yeah.
Can we all just get a little inspired and
No,
do that?
I actually am inspired to. I think I want to bring more science topics to the table.
Yeah.
So, like, I had an idea for. I think most of my discussions have been geared towards like mental health and personal development, but I kind of want to gear it more towards
Topics.
Yeah.
yeah, I will say this: I didn't like. I did research, but this research was maybe like at
You barely
75% capacity.
you,
So I wasn't.
you
This
barely
wasn't even.
scratched the
Yeah.
surface on it.
Well, just with me in doing research, like
Mhm.
I wasn't even at 100%. Like
Like try hard.
trying hard to research everything that I could.
Yeah.
You know.
And you got so much out of it.
Yeah,
too.
but like look how much I got out of it, and
Yeah.
look at all the knowledge that
Dude,
we all
yeah,
have
you know
received.
what? Genes are annoying to say. I have to say.
Yeah,
but
dude. When I was reading them online, is this Deck 1 or is this DEC 1?
I was reading like a MCAT passage yesterday. It's like MYLY 1.
Yeah,
It's just like it's so out of flow. Like
Hmm.
it's so annoying to say. Like this is not easy.
What was that prescription that you wanted me to look up yesterday?
Atarax.
Atarax, right? And
Atarax.
I told her, I'm like, oh, I spelled this shit wrong, and she laughed at me. I'm like, so what? It's a made up word. And I thought about it. I'm like, oh, all words are made up. Like, what the fuck am I talking about? Like, what the fuck?
It's so true.
Why in the medical field is it all fucking...
The decadocadocadon.
Well, actually, it's very different. Like there are, people get creative. There are actually lots of bacterias that are named. Like there's like something called Sonic the Hedgehog, like a bacteria.
I
Called
just...
Sonic the Hedgehog.
There's
Yeah.
something I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Since you're like, in the medical field and going along that way, the coronavirus, when you hear something new pop up, do you immediately like want to find out what that is and like specifically?
I'll be honest with you, I have not looked into it.
I just wanted to know, because
I-
I think like when something major like that happens, do all doctors just sit down and take the time to actually like find out what this is, or does the hospital make it mandatory for them to find out and learn about it, because that case was out, and it's just like a normal flu, right? It has the same symptoms of it.
I'm sure it's very contagious. Apparently it's like I think for the flu is like 1, I don't know if it's 1 in 1.3 or 1 in 3. I'm mixing up the numbers, but for the coronavirus it's 1 for every 1 person. It's every 5 that get infected. I think I'm not too. I don't know. I've been filtering out because there are people who are making it a joke out of it, or they don't know too much about it, and
this fucking meme culture, bro.
They're throwing a whole bunch of like things they don't really know about it.
The Modelo virus.
But
I already got that fool.
But
sick ass.
I think that's they definitely make that a requirement. Like a whole bunch of people. Even my company where I work is affected because we have business in China. So like one of the things my company is doing is they're running out of face masks. Like in China, so my company is like sending those over. Like,
bro, I saw a video of one of the cities that is just infected,
empty,
ghost town, bro. Yeah. No one's outside.
I've seen firsthand of like the scare tactic that's across all people, because I work in a lot of like drugstores and CVS's and stuff, and there's lines out the door for face masks here in like Laguna Niguel, or like I'm like, man, like, I mean, it's not because they're sick, it's because they don't want to get sick, obviously, but they're running out of face masks. People are selling face masks on the street for like $20 to $30.
I say bring it on, bro.
Yeah.
What doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
The dude that discovered it died. The doctor? Yeah.
I heard that wasn't true.
Actually, I've been hearing rumors that it was a lab-made virus.
Dude, it's in China. The whole fucking protesting thing going on. I'm sure there's a conspiracy going on for it. I wouldn't doubt it.
What's the city the outbreak began? Wuhan. Yeah.
Wuhan, whatever.
Yeah, I heard that there was like something, because there are no trace. I don't know. I have to look at. I'm just hearing things. I don't know if it's true.
That's the thing. What I read is that it came from like bat soup, or it came from snakes.
They ate bats, yeah.
Because they got weird delicacies over there.
I think eating bats is equivalent to eating rats.
They're like flying rats.
They are flying rats.
Like a pigeon.
Yeah, like they're very unsanitary.
Pigeons eat people's livers.
And I think it's British Columbia that like there's 1,200 different species of bats that have fucking rabies. You know how bad rabies is?
Yeah, rabies is terrifying, man.
Oh my god.
Have you seen a video of people? There's like a video you could see of someone with rabies.
Dude,
like
just
how
hearing
the disease progresses. Ugh.
Just hearing about it, I don't even want to see a video.
Man,
that shit
scary.
freaks me out.
Yeah, I was in a ride-in. I was talking to a manager. I was like, "What do you think of the whole coronavirus?" And then he's like, "The world's a crazy place, man."
Dude, you know what?
I was like,
dude,
you're right.
2020 has been a year so far.
Simply.
You have Australia lit up and then hit with a flood. You have the coronavirus. What else is going on right now? That's
Kobe.
Kobe. Like
World War III almost started, apparently.
Nah, dude,
I hate that shit. It wasn't even close. I hate this meme culture, dude.
I don't like the meme. I honestly don't pay attention to it.
I will give the meme culture one thing though. Kevin showed me a funny ass picture. It was a bunch of Heinekens that had a face mask, and there was one Corona off to the side. Like that was pretty good.
I love watching the frat move videos and stuff like that. That's like not so much memes, but like the videos like on Insta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are so funny. But
yeah, I don't know. I heard a good point though that, I mean, yeah, it's infectious, but I read that 120,000 people die from the flu every year.
Yeah, no, it's a surprisingly big
but
number.
it's like,
I don't know if it's 120,000.
We don't
not that deadly.
Yeah, we're not. Well, you don't see everyone walking around with a face mask because of that.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's just something that just
there's a flu shot, but
and it's being overhyped. You know,
I was like, man, I'll get it.
Anytime someone coughs, coronavirus. Like, you're on a plane and everyone looks at you.
I've heard some sad stories about that shit too. About like, especially Chinese man who worked with Uber.
Yeah.
that people
I
were
read that.
canceling his rides because he was Chinese and they thought he had.
Yeah, no, it's
I was like,
dude.
"Jeez, man,
It's just an
It's not
excuse
here.
to be
Hey,
racist.
Hey, it's the same shit that happened when like 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, fucking people went to
Just
Middle Eastern places and just start destroying their businesses and stuff like that.
Ignorant people, man.
Did you want to clarify the term we discussed earlier?
I guess if you want, I'm down.
Okay. I don't.
You know what? I'll say it. Don't say the word, Daniel, if you're too protective about it. Daniel asked me when he first got here, what did I mean by the word retard? And I immediately told him I did not mean people with Down syndrome. Like, I'm not that heartless, okay? I mean people that are just do stupid shit that should not
like
be.
not open-minded, very stubborn, rash decisions.
Yeah. You tell them not to do something stupid, they end up doing
People who follow strictly meme culture. That's
Okay, that is not what I meant.
well, no.
We take offense to that.
That is not what I meant.
We take Andy and I.
Well, people who
are
like
highly offended.
People who look at like, all right, World War. Our relationship's over now. No,
Andy's so
not
pissed.
that. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Not
He's gonna
everything
meme
I
you,
say-
bro.
Not
Okay.
everything I say.
Okay.
When I say things the first time, it doesn't always come out right. What I mean
No,
is,
no. It came out
alright,
right.
People who see the World War
I'm
III,
offended.
the World War III memes, and believe it, and like
I'm
seriously, like it's World War III. Like that's
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the same thing could have happened back then. Like,
With
just in newspapers.
any kind of news.
You know, you're not
Comics,
gonna. But
religious texts.
also, I'll clarify. I'll clarify that
Did
too.
I say that loud? My bad.
The Bible.
Okay.
About using the word retard.
Are we just offending everybody
I
now?
know, man. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you know,
God.
I take that back, everyone. It was just a joke.
The fan
No, no, no.
ratings
Listen,
have
It was just a
dropped
joke. I
significantly
respect
within
everyone's
just a few
belief
I grew
in
up-
spirituality. It's a very
Oh, yeah,
individually. It's a very personal thing, you know. And I
say
respect it.
I say
respect
retard
it.
2 episodes in a row, and they just start offending everyone religious.
But
I love it.
You guys are building.
I mean, all
This is
you
an
gotta do is-
explicit show. Listen, nothing's off limits.
No, this is
3
there's
episodes now, I've said the word.
You know what? For people who that you might not be appealing to, there's gonna be someone that you guys do appeal to. That's Antichrist, and
Gee, thanks.
and the devil, and
Is that
everything
our-
evil in the world.
no. What I mean is, I don't like when
Son of a
people
bitch.
don't. It's ethics is very important when providing
Yeah.
information and like things like that. Like for example, for someone to say global warming isn't real, that's
It's one
so
of those-
stupid. Or the world is not round. Like that's
Wow.
so
Irresponsible.
stupid.
You keep insulting me, dude.
Yeah. If you're a flat earther,
Memes, flat
if you're a
earther,
flat earther, you're playing
global
out
warming.
stupid.
Well,
Uh,
global
stand
warming
on
doesn't
this.
exist.
It goes back to, I think, the last episode we were talking about, or the episode before. We are not using the internet properly with social media, and we're not using it properly.
Yeah, something we can discuss.
Let's clarify what you wanted to
sorry.
clarify.
Oh, the
And
word-
let's wrap this up
the
because
word
apparently everyone in this bitch has to pee.
The words. Oh, really? Damn.
I've gotten like fucking 7 text messages already
Oh, my bad.
about having to pee.
This is my episode. You guys don't get to pee, okay?
Yeah, you tell him, Andy.
You either.
Yeah, bitch, dude. I've had a pee man for like probably 40 minutes now, but
All
it's
right.
fine. It's fine.
Mind over matter.
Real quick, the word retard. I grew up with 2 brothers. We called each other retard all the fucking time.
Thank you.
I didn't. It wasn't because they had Down syndrome, It wasn't because they were
Why-
mentally
it's not
stupid.
necessarily Down syndrome, but it's just
Well,
like,
you know what I mean. But
yeah.
just retardation in general. But it was we were just brothers, dude. We just like I did something stupid. Like, oh, you stupid retard, you fucking idiot. Like, it was just what came out of our mouth.
I don't think people should take
I'm
words.
exactly like Andy. I
don't-
grew up with fucking 3 other, I had 2 brothers and my uncle's a year older than me. It's just what we would insult each other
Yeah.
with.
I don't think words should be taken heavily. I think the intention behind the words.
Yeah,
should
it's, my brother wasn't like putting me
Yes.
down, like, you know what I mean, like holding me, like,
It-
you stupid idiot.
it's
You're
just-
stupid. You'll never amount to anything.
It's the same.
But-
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with comedians. Do comedians mean what they say? No, they're just trying to fucking
Yeah,
be
it's
funny.
just-
you
it
can.
gives you
It's like we said before. You can mix and match words any way you like, and you can make it sound great, or you can make it sound just
You
Like
can
anything-
fuck it up.
yeah,
You can make fun of anything if it's in good taste. To me, anyways. You know, some people may not agree with me, but you know, if it's funny, I will probably laugh at it,
Yeah.
even if it's the most fucked up thing on earth. You know, but I'm just saying, you know, I don't take things that seriously. You know,
Yeah,
But-
no.
Hey, you only live life once.
It's just-
literally like it's
you know, but I'm not like
you do you.
because I laugh at everything doesn't mean like I'm a racist or like I'm against, you know,
You're not
retardation.
sexist.
I'm not
Yes,
sexist. You know,
yes.
it's just I understand, you know, context and you know.
Hey,
all that.
for
But-
our listeners, if you could try to find a word that could be extreme, like used in an extremely bad situation to describe something, or an extremely good situation, comment it, please. I'm trying to find it. I'm
Yeah,
looking for it.
it's just
Dude, they ain't gonna do that.
yeah. they're-
For someone who cares enough, please.
Please, I beg of
Don't
you.
comment, message us so that it's
We got
hidden from the
sneak-
public.
We got sneak listeners. You know, they don't want to show themselves.
Oh, by the way, Spain. Someone
got
in
Spain
Spain.
now?
Someone in Spain is our top listener
Hola,
around the
amigo.
world.
Muchas gracias
Wow.
por escu-
27 downloads
Wow.
over
Me
in
gusta.
Spain.
Dang, 27?
27.
Wow.
Passed up South Korea.
Hey,
Te amo.
you're slacking, South Korea.
All right, let's wrap this bitch up.
All right.
Who's next? Daniel?
So
So you go last, right? Yeah.
Daniel sigue.
it's
vas a hablar?
Shut
¿Cómo
up.
se dice turn in inglés?
In
Like my
English?
turn, my turn.
The fucking guy has
My
to pee,
turn.
and he's
In
the one
Inglés?
prolonging this.
Oh, en
Turn?
español. En español.
Oh, like mi derecho or like mi
Yeah, they're
turno
like-
or
Yeah, like it's my time. You know,
Yo
es mi,
sigue.
es mi
Anyone know
tiempo.
Spanish?
Es mi, I can't speak right now.
Mi tiempo, my time.
Yeah, it's my
mi tiempo. That's like es mi tiempo. Like my time to go.
¿Dónde está en la biblioteca?
Hey, do you have to go?
I do have to pee.
All right, then shut up.
Elefante es muy grande. But thank you. Cool. I was really excited about. Sorry, I was checking my phone. I was really excited about this one.
All right, cool.
I wanted it to be good. Also, hopefully, you know, it was good. But I just wanted to research something, and you know, I felt really good doing this. Like it stimulated my mind. So, Jesus Christ, I'm
All
looking
right.
for things that do that. You know, so this was really interesting. And I will probably do this again next week on my turn. Just research something in depth and
Dope.
bring it to you guys.
I might try to change my sleep schedule now.
Fuck yeah. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
No, definitely had
Sweet.
a good conversation for. Who's
But
up?
yeah, thank you.
alright.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you everyone. I love you all. Life is beautiful. Once in, always in. Thank you for joining the circle.
Yeah, don't let the white man get you down.
It's not beautiful in Wuhan.
We'll see you later.
And thank you guys for listening. I did have a topic for. Wait, did I say goodbye or?
No, yeah.
I haven't stopped it yet. Calm
Okay,
down.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. I did have a topic in mind, but I might change it up and save that one for a later time.
Don't say it, please.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, it's too early to say what the topic is. But anyways, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Live your life. Paint your nails.
Oh my god.